Hi everyone, welcome back to my kitchen. My name is Kimberly Noctor in the kitchen with KK. We're gonna have some fun today because August the 4th is National Chocolate Chip Cookie Day. Now, I don't know about you, but as a kid, chocolate chip cookies were the thing, right? And since I've been cooking since I was 3, cookies were my favorite thing to make for my friends at school and family. And we all pretty much did the tall house cookie recipe. So we're gonna look into ways to make a better cookie, right? And I I'm going to be showcasing a recipe out of the snacks and goodies section of my cookbook, but I'm a certified integrative and functional health coach. I have a passion to educate. That's what this is all about. Just being fun in the kitchen, showing you what you can do in your own kitchen to take back the control of your health, extend your longevity, revamp your vital energy, right? Protect your whole family because we can control the ingredients right here. I am the author of this book, Simple Cooking for Vitality. You can only get a signed hard copy on my website, but you can get an ebook on Amazon. So Simple Cooking for Vitality is just a really concise way to help you look at food in a new way, how it relates to the entire energy flow of the body, the systems, the organs. Is fantastic. You're exploring how food is medicine. So we are just using real whole foods. We're not doing diets here. But when it comes to the cookie, we got to make some changes because type 2 diabetes is the most expensive disease that we have today. And the different drugs that they'll put you on is not something you want to have to be on forever. So we need to plan. How do we get those carbs down naturally? How do we remove toxic ingredients, high amounts of sugar, but still get the ooey gooey yumminess and the chocolate pop of dopamine that we're looking for to feel good? That's what this is all about. So we're going to do some alternatives here. And if you go to Whole Foods, or they might carry it somewhere else, but Capello's makes a vegan, gluten-free log of alternative cookies that you can slice up. You can pay about $14 for that. So you can make it a lot cheaper here. And in my opinion, it's too sweet. So we don't need to introduce that amount of sugar to sell a cookie. I'm going to show you how. And in their cookie, they're using coconut oil. Now, in my recipe originally, I'm going to use an organic stick of butter, but we're going to do it today with, this is my favorite coconut oil to cook with. It is a chef's suggested one to use, and you're going to see why when you get it. There's a big difference in this brand for cooking and baking. So this is the only one I use for cooking and baking, Nutiva brand. It is a virgin, unrefined coconut oil, but it's a big difference in quality. So I highly recommend it. The one I use on my skin and other is also virgin, unrefined. It's just not the kind that I want to bake with. So one of the biggest things in chocolate chip cookies are the chips, right? I could eat, I always snuck all the chocolate chips, the Nestle's brand. We had them in a little container, and I like to sneak them. However, we must get better at reading labels and understanding the ingredients that our liver and our body is not liking. Now, these ingredients damage our mitochondria over time, and that's where everything happens at the cellular level. So we need to get better at making alternatives. So what happens with Nestle, the very first ingredient is going to be sugar, okay? The next, it's going to have soy lecithin. It's going to have natural flavors in there. What is that about? So yeah, I used to eat them, but I don't buy them anymore. So we're going to be switching up and using 2 different kinds in this cookie that makes it radical and awesome. So Pasha brand, you're going to buy this on Amazon because they no longer sell it in Whole Foods. That's where I started buying it. It is 100% raw cacao, 100%. You want to get your palate used to bitter chocolate. So when they say dark chocolate is good for you, hey, it's only really good for you if you're taking out the lecithins, the sunflower, the soy lecithins. Those are thickeners, and taking out any added sugars. This is the way to go. Raw, cacao. You're going to get your sweetness from the rest of the cookie. You're going to get your dopamine hit from raw cacao. Raw cacao also has your natural, amazing nutrients. Okay. The other one is going to be Hue brand, the Hue brand chunks. Are you going to pay more for these? Sure you are. However, you're not eating chocolate chip cookies every day, and I'm going to show you how you make them and you put them and you cut them into pieces and store them in the freezer so they're ready to go and you have a cookie that's fresh in 11 minutes. Here, you're going to get no refined sugar. You're going to get no cane sugar, no sugar alcohols. So no stevia. You don't want to buy the fake chocolate chips. Those are disgusting tasting actually in a cookie. No soy or no sunflower lecithins. And this is just organic raw cacao, okay? So fantastic here. This is gonna have some coconut sugar in here, but coconut sugar is different. We are using coconut sugar to get rid of the refined white sugar. Totally different effect on the body because coconut sugar is about 75% sucrose, which is fructose and glucose added together, like the table sugar. Fructose is the stuff that only your liver can process. So when you have fatty liver, we got to remove the fructose in your body and in ingredients. But 25% of that is nutrients made from the coconut. So that's why coconut sugar has a proven lower glycemic load. So that's why we want to use it in our baking as an alternative. It's brown, it's not white. And what else are we putting in here that's an alternative? The carb load. Okay, with type 2 diabetes and any insulin resistance, any elevated blood sugars, which are so many people over the age of 50 today, we need to bring those carbs down. So that's what the ketogenic style of eating is between 20 and 50 max grams, gross grams per day, net grams, I mean. But when you're using coconut sugar, I mean, almond flour, I use the fine, only the fine graded from Bob's Red Mill. You're getting 3 grams of carbs. It's, of course, it's gluten-free. And 2 grams of fiber, which means you don't have a carb conversion here. So this is safe to bring the carbs way down in this cookie. No gluten and no inflammatory ingredients. And that's where the other issue comes in, is inflamed cells. They cannot get communication. They don't communicate well. So that's what we want to remove. Let's get the apron on and get this put together. Now, I can smell the cookies because I already have some baked over here. I'm going to show you. Those were from chunks that I had stored in my freezer. I'm going to show you how to do that. It's a genius way. You never want to bake the whole batch unless you're going to eat them all and serve them. And you want to keep them in the freezer so that you can just have 1 or 2 warmed with a drink or after dinner, or for the kids. Everyone wants a warm cookie. They're the best, right? Okay, first of all, we're not even using eggs in here. Some people have issues with eggs. They create an inflammatory response in their body. Other than that, pasture-raised eggs are a great source of protein, but I'm not putting them in here, all right? So let me just grab my flax. You know that I have it already ready to go in my jars, and that's what being prepared is really helpful for. We need 2 tablespoons of flax. 1 flax egg is 1 tablespoon of flax and 3 tablespoons of filtered water. So 6 tablespoons of filtered water is just a little over 1/3 of a cup, which is about 5 1/3 tablespoons. So you can just measure that out. So we're going to get the flaxseed in here. Actually, I need to come right back because I'm getting a little low. I use it so much. Hey, fresh ground flaxseed is the way to go. You do it in your coffee grinder in less than 2 minutes. I've got this filled up back where I use a lot of flaxseed. I use it in my yogurts and things. It adds a lot of fiber and omega-3s. It's perfect for women as a phytoestrogen as well. So we're going to use a heaping 2 tablespoons and 6 tablespoons of water. Now you just set aside a bowl like this, put it in the water. And you're just going to give it a mix. It's going to thicken as you get the rest of the ingredients into the bowl. And we're going to be starting, like I always do, with the oil and then adding in the sugar, creaming it nice, getting in the vanilla. So those wet ingredients. And go from there. Now we're using coconut oil instead. So that's a half a cup as an alternative to a half a cup of grass-fed butter. Of course, you can use butter. That's what I've used in recipe here, but I've made them, converting them as well. And then we're going to put the dry ingredients all in here, give them a toss, make sure they're nicely mixed, add it to this, scoop it up. You've got cookies in like 15 minutes tops, which is really fantastic. All right, so I'm going to do the dry ingredients first. That way I don't get my measuring cups all messed up. So we need, you always need to use arrowroot, by the way, with almond flour. Almond flour are nuts. So they're not going to have the same stickiness as regular flour. So we need some arrowroot. We need a little over like a quarter cup plus 2 tablespoons. So just, it's a quarter cup and a half, which is fine. Get this out of the way. So organic arrowroot flour it's a good thickener too. When I make things like chicken marsala, instead of using white flour or any breadcrumbs, I toss it in some arrowroot, and that's going to actually thicken up when you're using the wine and the garlic and that sauce, so you can use it in that alternative. We need 2 cups of the super fine almond flour here. So sometimes it gets a little bit chunky here. So that's why I do put it in another bowl so that I can mix it all up. So just round these off. Perfect. And one more. These are actually really good containers for something like this. They pop open. They're big enough. They're a little bit better than the glass, just because of the way they're shaped. So they work better for flowers. We're going to need a full half teaspoon of your non-aluminum baking soda. You can get that from Bob's Big Mill. So we need half a teaspoon of that. If you are not using a salted butter, make sure to get in at least a quarter teaspoon of sea salt. Sometimes I find when I'm using the salted butter, that's a little too salty if I add that much, but coconut oil does not have the salt. So make sure you add that in. That's pretty much all of the dry ingredients. Now we're going to be getting in the coconut oil. We're going to cream that together with the coconut sugar. Here's a half cup measure that we just used for the almond flour. So let's get this in here. When you first buy this coconut oil, it's a little bit harder as depending on the room temperature of your home. But this brand is so high quality, it never turns to like all liquid, which is really good. So let's get this in there. Scoop it out. All right, we're not even using that much coconut sugar. In my recipe, I have a quarter cup of coconut sugar plus 2 tablespoons of maple syrup. Maple syrup is super sweet, but it is nature's gold, okay? So it is like coconut sugar. It's going to have nutrients in there that the body actually recognizes. So I'm just going to use a heaping quarter cup here. It'll be sweet enough. So I'm out of my maple syrup. I'm waiting for my mom to send it from Vermont. Now we also need 2 tablespoons of Madagascar vanilla. Now, when you get the vanilla in there, bright vanilla flavor, that's adding a natural sweetness. And this is a 2 teaspoon measuring spoon. Williams Sonoma has really great options where you can get outside the normal the standard tablespoon, half tablespoon, quarter, and 1 teaspoon. So we just want to mix this together like you're creaming it. Of course, butter is a little different. You got to soften it a little to room temperature, cream it up. We just want to mix this real nice. Next up, I usually use a fork in here to get the see, it's a little lumpy. So we just want to smooth the lumps out. Use the back of the fork like you're creaming, maybe, you know, bananas for banana bread. This is old style. So just use a nice big table fork for the table. Give this a nice mix. Get the big lumps out. That nice cafe music going on. It's Florida and it's storming. So we're having one of our first like tropical depressions here. And our summers are a little different because our farmers markets are not during our summers. They're during the fall and winter here. But of course, we're grateful for having such amazing weather year round. Okay. Oh, hold on. I actually like to add part of this. Well, I'll just add all the flax in. You can kind of separate it, meaning add a little bit of the flour, then add some of this, and then the rest of the flour mixed. It's all going to be mixed up. It's fine. This is not like it's not like a sweet bread, like a banana bread that you just want to kind of toss really lightly. So these are cookies, but I am going to add half of this and then put the other half in. So let's just give this a mix, get this mixed in. So you can also add walnuts to this. That way you're getting extra good fats, some crunchiness. If you don't like walnuts in your chocolate chip cookies, you don't have to, or if your kids are finicky and they don't want them in there. Great, let's get the rest of the ingredients in. So this is a nice organized way to do this. Make sure you get aluminum stacking bowls. These are awesome. They won't break. They stack up real nice. They clean really awesome. So inexpensive. You can order them off Amazon just like anything else. It's an easy way to get them. So I have all different sizes. You've seen me with my meal prep and you need them. You need the right tools in your kitchen so everything is enjoyable and organized. So this is already smelling fantastic when you smell the vanilla. If there was butter, you'd smell the vanilla and the butter, two great smells, right? All right, so we need a generous amount of chips in here. So I like to use at least a half a cup of both. We can use a little bit more. A big handful is about a quarter of a cup. So these are the Pasha raw, 100%, no sugar added raw cacao. Now, sometimes I snack on these with a few raisins. The raisins give you a pop of sweet. The chocolate is really giving you the dopamine happiness that we're always after, pretty much 24/7. And then the huge chunks. Now the chunks are fun because they're big. You know, these are their snacking chips. Okay, so you don't need to add as many as these, but this is a luxury and it's fantastic. Now, you're not making cookies all the time. You're making real food, but these are alternatives to treats. And then we're going to get this into the refrigerator to get a little bit harder. I'm going to show you how to put them into wax paper. We're going to chill them, slice them up into little logs. And that's how we're going to be storing them so that you can cook, you know, 2 to 4 at a time just for your needs. That way they last longer. They're always fresh and amazing. Yumminess right there. Okay, I'm going to clean up everything. I'm going to show you the ones that are already baked and still warm because I want one, and you're going to want one too. And then we'll be right back to finish up. Okay, fantastic. If you made it this far in the video, I have a section in the back for snacks and desserts because it was my passion as a child to make cookies and goodies. But those are the very things that my clients have issues with, drops them off of their confidence in their, their good eating, or elevates their blood sugar. But we have to have alternatives at home because there's no more Chips Ahoy's and Famous Amos and things like that. They're loaded with junk. That is the snack food industry that is killing us today. So we need alternatives. This took me no more than 15 minutes to make. And then these cook at 375 for a mere 11 minutes. These are gorgeous, delicious, amazing, super low carbs, but you're getting that pop of chocolate that you really want. And if you want some walnuts in there, I did put it in the mix, just a half a cup or a quarter cup, just squish them up. I put them into a baggie and just bang on them a little bit, break them down. And we've got a delicious, yummy, gooey, delicious cookie that is warm and amazing. And that's what we're looking for in our chocolate chip cookies. So if you're really enjoying this video, please give me a thumbs up. I know I love doing these for you. It's a good amount of work. Share the videos with somebody that you like. And if you want to hear what's coming up, make sure you hit subscribe. I'm going to be back when those have firmed up a little bit. You just let them cool in the refrigerator a bit. We're going to roll them into logs and then chill them so we can slice them up into chunks that you keep in the freezer. It is frigging brilliant. Okay, we're back. I'm going to show you how to make the logs for the freezer so you can cut them into chunks. A well-stocked kitchen always has parchment paper, wax paper, aluminum foil, and plastic wrap, and possibly the press and seal. Those all have uses that are functional in the kitchen. So we want a nice piece of wax paper. And then it only took about 10 minutes to get this firmed up in the freezer. Just put the dough that you just made, and you're going to stack this onto the wax paper, kind of like in a mock log, but we're going to form it into a log even more. So obviously, if you want to bake some of these straight away, after it's cooled, you can get some and put onto a cookie sheet. But while you're doing this, you want to put some into logs so that you have them ready in the refrigerator. What you do is you roll the wax paper over. You're going to roll them into a log, and then you're just going to shape this into a nice even form. Squish it in, because this is what you're going to cut when they finally finish cooling. Just twist the ends like this. And these logs are going to go back into the freezer. And then when they're firm, you're just going to slice them with a knife. And those chunks you're going to keep in the freezer in a bag, like a freezer bag. You could wrap them in a little bit of wax paper if you want to keep them separate. And that's how that works. When those are frozen, I'm going to show you how to cut those up. But we already have fresh cookies. They're amazing. You saw them. Okay, guys, let's finish off this demo. These take no time in the freezer to set, so they're ready for you to slice. You're just gonna undo and make sure you kind of press them together. We just want a firm log, and you wanna cut them depending on your size, not too big, not too small, or you can do some larger ones for after dinner. When I have dinner parties, I serve these. Are a huge hit. So about an inch at least. And you're just going to cut with a nice sharp knife. Super easy. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we've got about probably got 3 logs this made. So you got about 24 cookies, which is fantastic. So I am going to put maybe like stacks of 4. You can just wrap up in some wax paper. So they're kind of separated. That way they're not going to stick together. You can use the same wax paper here that you roll them up into. And then I just put them into a freezer bag like that. You're ready to go. Just take out one. You can cook 2 or 4 at a time, 375, 11 minutes. You get a warm cookie, low in carbs, no inflammatory oils, delicious dopamine serving raw chocolate. So get adventurous, get bold, change up the recipes, and take control right here in your kitchen. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Have an awesome night and a fun National Chocolate Chip Cookie Day.